sacrifices, play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed that I will make it bring glory to my name.
All right. So, like I told Mitch, I'm going to start the podcast off with a rant. Because I have a neighbor that's an absolute douchebag. Hold up. Let me lock my doors real quick. All right. So, like I was saying, I have a neighbor, total douchebag. I don't know why. I think he's racist. I can't tell. Because I don't know this man. I haven't had maybe but one interaction with him. And it was a normal, like just passing by type of ordeal. But so I'm driving back to get here. And for some reason, he always gives me these death stares, like he wants to fight. Like it's so weird. I've done nothing
older
to
guy
him.
or older guy or younger guy?
Yeah, he's probably mid-30s, so not like crazy older. But he always gives me these stares like he wants to fight. And like I remember one time I was taking my dog out in the morning. I saw him and I was like, "Good morning." Or like, I say hi to people whenever, or I'll, whatever. So I said good morning. He said nothing. Just kept walking. I'm like, all right, well, fuck this dude. So today I'm driving and I'm trying to park or whatever. And so like, there's like, an apartment, there's like a long stretch before I can get to the building that I get to. And so he's walking and he's kind of like in the middle of the road, but not really. And so he starts to like move over to get out the way. And he kind of looks back like this. He sees it's me. He gets back in the middle of the road. I was like, oh my gosh. And so he's just walking literally dead center of the road to where I can't go around him either way. And he's just walking every like 10, my car is loud because I got a exhaust system on it. So I know he hears me, right?
Yeah.
And every 10 steps, he would like just look back, check, and then kept walking in the middle. And so I was like, oh my God, God's really testing me. Because I've been listening to church music all day. I was playing church music at work. So I've been in a good mood all day. I'm like, oh my God, God is really testing my patience right now. He's really testing me to see like how good I really am. So I'm thinking nothing of it. I was like, you know what? He's being petty. I'm not gonna stoop that low. I'm gonna be the bigger guy. So you know what? It's cool. So I'm just waiting. I'm just chilling behind him. I'm not really in any rush, whatever, because I'm like the next building down. So he's got to walk. Eventually I'm gonna get to the spot. So I'm walking, cool. He stops. He gets the way, and I drive by. He stares at me like this, and he kind of squares up. And this is not a big guy. I can't tell if he looks like he might be Hispanic, like a whitewashed Hispanic, or he might be white.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell, but I think he's Hispanic. And he kind of like squared up as I was driving by. So I slowed down, I stopped. I was like, "You got a problem?" And he turns and he starts walking. He's walking. So I'm driving next to him at the same rate he's walking. I'm like, "Hey, you got a problem?" I was like, "Sir, sir." I kept going, "Sir." He's ignoring me. He's like, I was like, "Do you have a problem?" And he didn't say that. He went up to the and I parked. I'm like, bro, I swear to God, one of these days, all he has to do is just tempt me. I will fade this nigga, bro. I swear. I will fade this dude. I'm sorry. Bro, all it takes for him is to do something semi-aggressive. I will beat the brakes off this man. I swear, bro. Oh my God. I've done nothing to this dude, bro. I don't even know his name. He don't know my name. I just know he lives on the second floor. That's it. He lives the second floor of the same building. But that's it. I've done nothing.
Surely you did something, Finis.
Bro, I think he's truly racist. He just does not like black people. That's what I'm thinking. Because there's no logical explanation for him hating me like this, besides the fact that because he's got to just be racist, bro. I used to say
figure this out.
I would say good morning to him while I'm taking my dog out. Nothing. I'm like, all right, bro.
Do you have any black neighbors around you?
No, I'm the only
black. We gotta
black.
start asking questions.
I'm the only black. Besides, I know there's a black family the next building over, but besides that black family, I haven't seen another black person at this complex.
Damn.
That I know of. I'm not saying there aren't others, but I've lived here 3 years. And besides this black family in the next building over, I have not seen another African American here.
All right. Is there something mentally wrong with this guy? Do we think that?
I don't know. I've never talked to him. He hasn't said a word, so I don't know. Because like,
What the fuck was he doing just walking in the middle of the street, man?
Well, he might have been coming back from the front office. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. I know he knows what he's doing because his demeanor changes. So like if I'm coming downstairs and sometimes I'll be coming downstairs to smoke out and he'll be like leaving to go somewhere. And like his body language will change when he recognizes that it's me.
Yeah.
So like, I'll be coming upstairs. He'll be like, oh, chill, lock the door. And he'll look up, he'll see it's me. And he'll get like tough. Like he'll straighten up. Almost like it's almost like he squares up every time he sees me. He might not square up on me, but if I walk around and he's at his door, he'll just stop what he's doing and just stare at me as I go by. As if like
what the fuck is wrong with this dude, man?
I don't know. It's literally like he tightens up as if I'm gonna swing on him at any moment. That's like how he's coming off. Like he thinks I'm gonna attack him, so he like tightens up and like look like his fists are balled up, bro. Like he legit squares up. His fists are balled up. I don't know this dude, bro. besides, bro, I used to say good morning because I used to see him quite often. I used to say there was a span where I would, even though he wouldn't say it back, I would just see him like, hey, good morning. He would say it back. I'm like, oh, it's whatever. But then after a while, I stopped. But that's the only interaction we've ever had. In the mornings, I would just be like, hey, good morning. He would just walk by. You know, I wouldn't think nothing. I don't give a shit. I just say good morning to everybody because it's just a habit.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what it is, bro. I don't know what it is.
Because imagine all right. Imagine that he's like that like worked up or like tense about life all the fucking time, man. Like how do people like exist like that? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you exist in that state all the time, just being that tense?
Might just be a terrible person because him and here goes my video.
The $150 webcam.
Yeah, let me go to this computer webcam. So it might just be that he might just be a shitty person because I don't know if his parents were living with him, but obviously they look like he was related to them. They were significantly older, so it looked like his parents.
Yeah.
And him, it might have been his mom or whatever, but they did get into like a super bad argument. Like there was a kind of a fight. And I think the police were called. And like I was taking my dog out and they were like yelling at each other. So I don't know if he's like that towards me because I witnessed all of that. I didn't say anything. I didn't call the cops. I didn't like snitch or nothing. Maybe he thought I did or something.
Yeah.
But I just took my dog out. There was arguing. I was like, oh shit. I was on my phone. And then once smoking was done, I went upstairs. That was it. Like I didn't get involved. I minded my business is what I did.
Yeah.
And like his mom was crying and they were arguing. And the dad was like, what? I don't know what happened. I just know there was an argument. But he saw that I was witnessing all of it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's why. And maybe because the consequence he thought maybe I did. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. But still, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what you square up for me for?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. He obviously doesn't get along with people.
How much longer you got to be there? You got like a fucking year lease left on that?
Yeah. I signed an 18-month lease.
You signed an 18-month lease?
Yeah, it was like $200 cheaper.
Damn.
A month, yeah. And I'm not going nowhere. I wasn't going anywhere. I signed an 18-month lease when I had 2 years left. So
yeah,
after this, I'll probably just re-sign for a 6 month and then I'll get ready to graduate.
Back on to Tennessee you come, huh?
Most likely, but we'll see. I guess see what my options are. But yeah.
Did you get to watch that Heat game last night?
Did I? I only saw the last 5 minutes. And that's all. Yeah. Yeah. Well, as we got to work.
That's one of the most heartbreaking losses that I think I've ever seen in sports. Like I don't know how, if Eric Spoelstra gets that team up for Game 7, he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, man. Like I don't know, Boston should come out and win by 70 next game.
I don't know, bro. That was heartbreaking because, oh my God, Jimmy went from having a rough game statistically, like looking at like his shoot, to having like
awful, bro.
And then, but those last 4 minutes made up for all of it. He ended up with like what 24, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I literally I called Caleb Martin.
Yeah, Caleb Martin and fucking Gabe Vincent were the ones keeping them in the game. If you were watching the game, man, it was like Bam and Jimmy couldn't do anything, and all the role players were stepping up. And you're sitting here and you're like, the Heat are only down like 7, right? And it felt like they should be down by 70. So they
Right.
were just
Yeah.
lingering, and they got there, and that it should have been enough, right? It should have been enough, and just some freak shit like that happens. I don't know how Boston, like, because now the Heat have kind of lost that team of destiny thing they had going for them, right?
Yeah.
If they were a team of destiny, that shit should not have went down last night like that. That's gonna bounce out or too late. So I don't know how they get back to it, man. I think Boston comes out and wins by 40.
Do we think so? You watched the whole game. Was the changing of the clock from 2.1 seconds to 3 seconds, was that warranted? Was it supposed to change?
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't spend any time on that on the broadcast. Obviously, it would made a huge difference, but it's one of those that I think that the foul was called a little bit later than it actually happened, so that's why they put the time back on there. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of things like they had Bam went up for a block, and he grabbed the rim as he was trying to block the ball with one hand. So he grabbed with one hand and tried to smack the backboard with the other. And it was a goaltending, and I think the bucket counted, and it was a technical. So because he had grabbed the rim, so there's a point there. And then Duncan Robinson, you obviously saw like
missed
you got
those
to live
two.
with those two. Yeah, you got to live with those two shots from him. It's not quite like Jordan Poole-esque, you know.
I said that because everybody at Applebee's was watching. The whole bar was watching and I was like, I'm not mad at that shot because that's his shot. I'm not mad at those shots.
In transition, in rhythm, like not a soul near him. Like that first one, you kind of understand the he had that hesitation dribble that he took, but man. I guess I never. Last week were the Lakers out of it. All right, before we go into the Lakers, what are you doing with Boston? Let's say Boston loses tomorrow, right? I get that they're legitimately on a game 7 to go to the finals, and they went to the finals last year. I think they did the Eastern Conference finals the 2 years prior to that. So obviously they can get there, right?
They got something.
But they got something working, but if you keep getting to the conference finals and losing, or if I think they get blown out by Denver, but let's say that Boston wins and they get blown out by Denver, like what do you do with that team? Do you split up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Like you gotta do something to put you over the hump, and I don't know what it is.
I think splitting up Tatum and Brown is going to be the downfall of the organizations in terms of where they're at now. Because like you said, at least with the team they have now, they're not quite clicking, but you're getting Western Conference Finals on a bad season. You're still getting Western Conference Finals, and in that year they made it to the finals. So I think breaking them up is too drastic of a change, but I do think the role players around them, they're going to have to figure that out. I definitely think you keep those two and then try to work from there, because I don't know if you can get some value from Marcus Smart, even though I
think Marcus Smart has a lot of value, bro. I think that he would definitely get some good trades out of the league.
Yeah.
I think he's like what Patrick Beverley wants to be, right? Like he can hit those shots when you need them, and he's going to lock up on defense. And he plays with that mentality that it's almost it's kind of what Westbrook does to a team, except without the reckless, inhibition of it. You know what I'm saying? Just that energy that he provides. So I don't know what you do with that team, man. I don't know if you keep trying or if you sell for some of the parts.
I think you keep trying, at least with Tatum and Brown, because I think as long as you keep those two together, you're at least making the playoffs each year. Like worst case scenario, I think, or I would assume. It's just you got Al Horford. Could you get if you have an Al Horford? Which I'm a fan of Al Horford, but if you have an Al Horford and Marcus Smart package, could you get a solid center in terms of score? Because, Al Horford's not much of a productive big man in terms of offensive, presence. Every now and then
Who would
he
you
will.
want?
Yeah, who could you get? I'm trying to think who you'd even go for with that type of package, because you couldn't get a top, you can't go for a top 5 center, I
Yeah.
don't think.
Well, I don't even know who the fucking top 5 centers would be. What, like Joel Embiid, Jokic, Towns,
Giannis.
Giannis ain't a center.
I mean,
Giannis
I
he's a
guess.
wing. You could run him there, but he's a slashing 4.
Uh,
I mean,
I,
there's not a whole lot of guys out there, man. It's like the best of the best are really fucking good, but like as soon as you get past 3 or 4, it's like kind of getting the
they,
same shit. Like you almost want like a Brook Lopez, right? But
I was gonna say, or like even a Steven Adams.
yeah.
A Steven
I think
Adams.
the Lakers with Steven Adams would be. I think that would be a great mesh if they could somehow get him.
Yeah, I'm not mad at. I saw Dwight was trying to get back to Lakers. I'm not mad at that. Having
They
a
just
solid,
they need an energy, like an energy boarding, protect the rim big man, run the floor, right?
right.
Like, and that's what you'll get that out of Dwight Howard and Steven Adams. Like they're
It took
Dwight
20.
Howard's
That's what 2020 Dwight Howard. I mean, you saw it almost like they turned back the clock a little bit. The way they're able to get that production out of him, it was like, oh shit.
Yep.
Hell,
It was.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It was coming off the bench. They said they didn't want to keep him. Lakers, obviously, they didn't want to because he's playing overseas. But I think that you need
they
somebody
did
that's
want
going
to
to run
keep
the
him.
floor. The Lakers did?
Yeah, they wanted to keep him, but was it the 76ers paid him more? They didn't want to pay him like that much. But the Lakers did offer him a contract, because remember Dwight Howard tweeted out, "I'm coming back," and then he deleted it because the deal 76ers offered him, it was like a couldn't turn down in terms of, it was a multi-year, like a pretty fat contract. And I don't
I always
think
thought that happened before he went to overseas to Taiwan or wherever that he's playing.
Oh, you're talking about after 76ers? Talking about getting them back?
I thought that.
Maybe. I didn't hear about that one.
But I mean, regardless, but the problem is, Finis, is I'm not giving up Al Horford and Marcus Smart for Steven Adams. I don't think that's a fair trade if I'm Boston, right? Maybe you throw some first round picks in there, but I think Marcus Smart and Al Horford are worth more than a Steven Adams. Even though you might need the Steven Adams, you're not going to give that up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you could get better for Marcus Smart.
What level? So, would they focus on is that what they're missing? Is a productive big man?
No, I think if I just this isn't me being a hater. I think they're missing consistency out of Tatum, bro. I think they got the perfect team. It's just like it's almost like the AD factor. It's like how is Tatum going to go from? Let's look at this. Look at the inconsistency of this. Let's see the Jason Tatum stats over just the Miami series, right? Just in the last. Okay, so the May 27th, he had 31 points. May 25th, he has 21 points. And then May 23rd, he has 33 points. It's like, why, over the past 3 games, why are we having the 21-point, 50% shooting from the field, 1 of 6 from 3 points? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it should be, if I'm paying you over $200 million to win me championships, I should be getting consistent performances out of you. And at least how I look at things.
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs, man. Like, look at this shit. He had 14 points. He had 14 points in the loss to in the game 3 loss. It's like, where the fuck is that coming from, man?
It's that pressure Miami got.
It is that, but I don't know. I think Jason Tatum's kind of, I guess he's just got to wear it, and he's got to like actually prove that he can go out and win a championship.
Yeah, true. Hang on, Mitch. Ooh, we got technical difficulties.
You good, Strib?
We good. We good now. We good. Ready to rock. Let's see if this camera will work now. Bam! Look at that HD.
That's the better camera?
Yeah. supposed to be.
I've been thinking about investing into a computer over the next maybe year or so. Get like a nice $2,000 computer.
Like a desktop?
Yeah, like get a desktop.
You
Because I
just
already
have
work in
laptops right
tech,
now?
Yeah, I have a work laptop, and then Nick's been using my I had like a little mini MacBook.
Mm-hmm.
He's been using that for a while, but I've been thinking about getting a nice little rig, just do work off of, and then maybe play some games on it. I don't know.
I think I think I'm end up switching to PC because for gaming, uh man, because these consoles, man, I still don't have a PS5. And I'd low key would rather just get a PC and just be able to hold that for 10, 15 years. Because if
Yeah,
I get like a
replace the
real,
video card. Yeah,
yeah, but just get like a really nice $2,000-3,000 PC and just rock that for however long I need to. These
yeah.
consoles, they get outdated. They're like iPhones. They get outdated once you get 2, 3 years, it's like you run out of
It's
space and all that stuff.
technology. Yeah, technology's going better. And the games just look better, bro. Like just straight up, like you got more power to run the games on.
Yeah, and cause shit, the PS4 I have, it's not first generation, but it's an older model for sure. To where it was when I that was the one, but when it was 300 gigs was like the max. That was like big deal back then.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, 300 gigs now might get you 4 games, maybe. So I had to switch out the internal hard drive because it's just the same as a laptop hard drive. But I ended up switching that out with a 2 terabyte hard drive, which
Mhm.
it's been fine now because I don't play that many games, but I was just having to keep up with the time. So I'm kind of wanting to do the same. Obviously, I gotta wait till I graduate and I can actually afford to drop that kind of money, but
Yeah,
I feel like PC is the way to go, damn near.
for sure. And you can at least with the Xbox, it's Windows and Windows, so
Yeah.
you can still play with all your Xbox friends and shit. Um, I don't know. It's just an investment. It's upfront investment. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's like paying for a Mac versus Windows laptop, even though you swear by the Windows laptop. But it's like the Mac, you're getting the updates. It's just a more reliable
Hmm.
machine at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
And
But
they, and
yeah,
they,
I want to
yeah.
get me a rig, Finis. We'll see.
Have you been looking at all, or you just know you want to get something?
I've been looking. I've been flirting with the idea, but I don't know. And another question is, do I want to build my own? So I feel like there's kind of some fun in that, right? Like it becomes your baby when you're building it
Yeah.
from scratch.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought about getting like kind of building my own. I thought about getting like one that's already like souped up, but
Mm,
still get it. Because they got the ones where you can make it just online, you kind of customize it, but it's still
yeah,
technically built for you. And then as you kind of, because I don't know shit about laptops, honestly, but as I get like more into like what I want specifically, you can just change out the parts from there.
yeah,
But are you trying to build one like from scratch?
yeah. I was thinking about that route. I'd
That
just
would
be
be
scared to
lit
fuck
though.
something up, man.
Yeah.
You can pretty much do it all through YouTube. But pretty
Yeah.
much
Oh,
you can
yeah.
definitely do it all through YouTube.
Oh yeah. For
Um,
sure.
yeah, but I want to think about doing that, and then that way, like, because I have the Series S for the Xbox, which is like it's better than a 360, but it's not as good as like the big refrigerator looking one. It's the small
Right.
little white one.
Right.
Um, and I could tell a little bit that like the game's kind of missing some juice to it, like
Mm-hmm.
it's still they can still perform better. Um,
Right.
and then like also like if I ever do side gigs for work and stuff, it'd be nice to have one. But that's on the back burner. I got to get back to Nashville first.
So you are getting back to Nashville?
I think so, man. I think so. I was playing with the idea, and who knows, I might be changed. I was playing with ideas of Charlotte. I kind of like it's still kind of a cheaper place to live. Like it's probably like San Antonio cost of living, maybe a little bit more, but they got the NBA team, and it's a shitty NBA team, so tickets would be cheap to go and see them, and they got the NFL team, and it's closer to home. So I don't know. I might go stay there for a month and check it out, like Airbnb it for a month, but we'll see. But yeah, definitely back towards the South, man.
And then you still work your same jobs? It's hard. Your job's 100% remote?
Yeah.
So you would still be working in the same place, but just moving.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dang, that sounds lit.
What I've realized about out here, Finis, and it's hard to explain until you actually come out here and live. Like it's almost like a it's like a San Francisco, New York, LA vibe, right? Like you're getting dropped in with a million other people, legitimately millions of other people that are all like trying to make a life for themselves, trying to make a name for themselves, right?
Right.
And especially in like, because I live in Orange County, which is one of the most expensive counties in America, and it's like you look around, you go to a bar, you sit down, and like there's a very it's going to be like 20% of the people in there have $1 million in their bank account, right? Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just being surrounded by all those people, and I've been playing with the idea, and I'm trying to figure out if that, like, to survive with those people, how like people say selling your soul, like, going to record industry or whatnot, they got the record deal, they sold their soul or whatnot,
Right.
I think that in at least like a less corny way, I think that you can go in there and you can have that networking like attitude to like go and meet people and then figure out what they're doing, and then maybe you'll meet this guy through this guy and then like work your way up to the top, right? I think that you kind of have to sell a little piece of who you are to take that route among things, if that makes sense, right? Because you're sacrificing, because you want to be liked by everybody out here, right? And you want to be like, because you never know the influence that people have. So I don't know. I think that the environment's just not for me. It's cool that I got to see it, but I don't think that that's what I'm looking for out of life,
Yeah.
Because it's different, man. It's different than what we were used to. Fucking back south, and it's a speedier way of life. That's for sure.
Come on back. Because me and Calvin were talking about, all of, because the plan is to end up back in Nashville or at least Middle Tennessee. That it'd be lit that, once everybody's all back in town. But then Calvin talking about moving, so our luck, we'll all get back in Nashville, and then
Calvin's gone.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah.
But it'd be lit to have like a in-person podcast because we'll all be in the same area.
For sure. Maybe somebody eventually gets a house, have a little shed out back for doing it.
Yeah, like a little studio.
You like poker, Finis?
I love poker. Like Texas Hold'em?
We need to. Yeah, Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, I love poker.
See, that's what we need to start when we both get back there is fucking poker nights. Smoke some cigars, play some poker.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
I got my shit ready. Poker. You play blackjack? Well, blackjack.
I play black.
It'd be weird to play because you need somebody to be a dealer, but
yeah, I love blackjack too. But yeah, dude, Texas Hold'em, man, get a group doing that every Friday night or some shit. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, we'll see. I still got some time though, like a year and a half.
Yeah. I got a Professor Strib question.
Where's my
Where's the glasses? All right. Are black holes spherical?
Spherical in what sense? Like
spheroid?
Like spherical-ish?
Yeah, like is a black like a sun is a big ball, right? Essentially.
Right.
Is the black hole a big ball? Or is it a flat disc like you would like kind of think it would be? Like almost in like an animation. Like when I think of black hole, I think of like a black disc in the side, obviously with like the light refracting off the edges. Like I get that picture of it. but like behind it, right? Can you like circle it and see it as if you were to like orbit the sun, I guess you could say?
Yeah, damn, that is a great question. I'm pretty sure it's spherical. So I don't think it's one-sided. Because I believe if you've seen that picture of how black holes work where the space-time continuum is a plane and at the center of it, that singularity, I'm pretty sure it's both ways. So if you're viewing it 2D, you have the singularity this way from your perspective, and then this way from my perspective. But I also think it's like, but that's also on this side. So like if you're looking at it, imagine it as like a square or a box. You got this side, these two sides, these two sides, these two sides, right? And no matter which two sides you look, if you take it looking at two sides at a time, so me looking at you and you looking at me, if we were across each other in a room, you got that side with the singularities. But if we go to this side, it's still the same way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how.
So then it's cubical?
No, that's just to help visualize looking at whatever direction you're looking at. Because you could look at it not necessarily perpendicular like this, but if it was like this, it would still be, that singularity would still be this way. So I'm pretty sure they're spherical.
Interesting.
Very destructive.
Do they produce energy?
Yes, they do produce energy. I think they're one of the highest producing phenomenons in our universe, just because of how massive those things are.
Interesting. Yeah, I was watching one of those videos that was like, I think I actually showed you part of the video that I just watched it before I came to San Antonio on my way out here, but the video where it took from like 2019 all the way to the end of the universe. And it was showing, I guess, the progressions of that. And I was watching it, I was like, don't these fucking black holes just gonna be like sitting around because that always trips me out about space, right? Because when you think of like the orbits of the planets, right, and then there's an asteroid belt, and then it goes to Jupiter, you're thinking of that as like a picture, like a two-dimensional space, but it's really like an actual like sphere of asteroids that go around the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
That like encapsulate.
Right.
Yeah, so that shit was fucking me up. I love that, man. Yeah. So was your like when you went astrophysics, did you have any broad classes like that where you were like, I guess like deeper dives into stuff like that, but like broader conversations about the beginnings of the universe, all that fun stuff? Or was it like as soon as you got to grad school, it's like we're picking one singular granular aspect of astrophysics and you're going to spend the next 5 years looking at it? You know what I'm saying?
No, it starts off pretty broad.
It starts off, just narrows down.
Yeah, so it starts off, but you're talking like starting from the college level?
Yeah.
So yeah, in the college level, it starts off broad. It's kind of how most degree programs work. You kind of start off taking a little bit of everything, and then when you want to, because you don't have to get an emphasis. And so Mizzou, you can get just a general physics degree, or you can get one with an emphasis. So you can get an emphasis in material science or emphasis in like molecular physics, whatever, biophysics, because I think they started that, and then obviously astrophysics. But you get like, you can take a general class. You got to take like, so I just happened to take a bunch of astronomy classes because space was the one that just interested me the most. It intrigued me the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally it's just, very general. So like, and then you take an elective. So you take elective in like cosmology, which is the study of the universe. So cosmology is the broadest form of like space physics or space science, because it just talks about the overall development of the universe. So it talks about the beginning, what happened here, and then where we are now, and theories of how it's going to end. So it's super broad. And then within cosmology, you get specifically talking about planetary science, how planets are formed between terrestrial, which is like hard rocky planets, gas giants like Jupiter, Saturn. You can look at heliophysics, which is the study of just the sun, and how those things work. I study stellar evolution, so how stars evolve throughout their life form. And then and then I got stellar evolution, then within stellar evolution, I went from broad to stellar. Now I look at specifically AGB stars and planetary nebula. And then within planetary nebula, I look at dust, stellar dust. So how the stars create dust. And I specifically look at how dust interacts with the host star and how those interactions can create anomalies within the stars as they age and stuff like that. So it starts super broad.
So is your dissertation, were you looking for, are you trying to break new ground with the dissertation? Or are you trying to take an argument that somebody has and build upon it? Right?
You can take either or. Generally, my supervisor always says, generally your dissertation is not your actual research. Your dissertation is you starting from like a general question, but the true research you'll do in your career starts after your dissertation. So you come up with, it's like the scientific method. You have a question and you try to find the solution to that question by testing your hypothesis. You come up with a hypothesis, you got to test it, yada. Unfortunately for me, what I'm doing, not many people, it's not a very research topic. So a lot of stuff I'm doing is I'm doing stuff. I got to do a lot of my own stuff because nobody has done it before. So I'm making like this catalog, this database of different parameters of different planetary nebulae, which is a type of old dying star. And I was hoping I could just find a bunch of catalogs and kind of piece out, but not many people have done it. So I'm literally having to manually grab pieces of information from hundreds of papers and to compile this database. And I'm going to be looking for trends and stuff like that. So what I'm doing is, I'm not gonna say it's groundbreaking or like other people have done it in terms of the hypotheses I have, people have taken, but the angle I'm taking on it is very, very, very different. So it's kind of a lot of just murky waters in terms of like, I don't know how my research is going to pan out because as far as I know, I'm the only one really taking this angle in the research or in this field.
So I wonder with the sciences, like, so what happens? What happens if one of the dissertations, right? Because science is all about the idea of it is that you're allowed to fail, right? And like that they like you failing, right? Because it proves the scientific method. So success and failure are almost just as good. So will people do dissertations in the sciences that were failures but still pass the dissertation to get the PhD, right? Because like what if what you're working on, you asked a question and you research it for 3 years and you do the math and you compile all the data, and then there's it's the limits of our knowledge, right? Like there's questions that don't have answers, and they won't have answers till our technology gets better, right? So will that dissertation still pass through committee on the sciences side?
Yeah,
so
as long
the fucking degree, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, as long as the execution of the scientific method is correct, then the result, and as long as you're honest with the result, then the result's the result. So there are, plenty of people that there's a question, and let's say the earth is flat. Let's say your dissertation is you want to prove that the earth is flat. Let's say you do all this testing. Yeah, you do all these scientific methods, you do everything the right way in terms of testing, and you get to the end and your tests point towards the fact that the earth is round. Then you would just say in the dissertation at the end, in the conclusions, that either there's two ways you can go about it. You can say that this requires further testing because of some limitations of technology or something like that, or you would just say that, testing, these results point to the contrary, that the earth most likely is actually round. So our hypothesis is wrong. But like you said, you failed because you wanted to prove that the earth was flat, but instead the evidence points that the earth is round. So it's not necessarily a failure because your paper can be used
to come to a conclusion.
Right. In favor to say, okay, we know the earth is round because I tested this hypothesis the earth is flat. All the evidence was pointed towards the earth is round, did not agree with what we would expect if the earth was flat. Therefore, the earth is flat, or this backs that the earth is flat, even though we wanted to prove that the earth is round, even though we wanted to prove that the earth was flat.
Yeah, so it's almost like as long as the method is done correctly, there is no wrong answer, right? Because you're getting an answer nonetheless. Either if it's done right, it's either there's limits on technology that, or to our current understandings of the universe, this question is either not possible or we can't test it, right? Or you're saying I tested this and found that X, Y, and Z was true, and this proves my original hypothesis, and then you made a new scientific discovery, right? So there's really no failure in it. You're either proving you're trying to prove you're gonna prove something, right?
Right. Either yeah. It's pretty much how it goes.
That's wild, man. And so what happens in your scenario? Let's say that you're supposed to graduate in 2024 and you've taken all the classes, but your dissertation, like, you just got to keep working on it. If it's not done yet, or if you still need further testing that can be done, you just need more time. Like, will they extend you, or are you taking more classes? Like, how does that work?
So I'm pretty much, that's the point where I'm at. I've been done with classes for a year already. So it's just been working on getting a paper published, working on dissertation, yada, yada. And you can keep going. You have to be, I think the time frame is you can't take more than 99 credit hours. So you just got to graduate within 99 credit hours, essentially.
So are you sitting there like you're paying to continue to work on your dissertation? Like, are you still paying the school if you're not taking any classes? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I get paid.
Yeah, but you get paid because of scholarships and awards and stuff or whatnot, right?
I get paid because I'm a graduate assistant, a research assistant.
Interesting.
So I finessed this. Well, I didn't finesse because that's generally what grad students do. But essentially, you finesse the system because you apply. You apply for the graduate assistantship, and if you get on, then you get paid to do your research. You're basically getting paid to do your dissertation, essentially.
Mm-hmm. I guess that makes sense. Damn. So, are you teaching any classes?
I was
teaching any classes.
I was, but once you get this far into your PhD, you generally don't. Because it's like crunch time. Like, at this point, I'm like right there because I should be after I got a conference. I leave Sunday to go to a conference in New Mexico. And then after that conference, because that's why I should have like pretty much I'm doing data analysis this week from the results of the data that I've collected. So I'll pretty much have not a solid answer, but if I will know whether or not my hypothesis panned out or not, or there are some like contextual things that we should expect correlations here, but if we don't, it might be because of this, because there's a lot of context stuff when it comes to space. But after that, I should be writing my paper starting next month, and then I'm banking maybe 3 months for that to take the write. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm kind of overestimating. So I'm hoping to have a paper published in December, or at least be sent in to be published, because you can't take your dissertation, you can't defend until you have a paper published. So I'm hoping that gets published by December, or at least sent in. And then while that's being reviewed from January till December, or at least January till like maybe August, September, it's dissertation writing and then defense in the fall. So I kind of allotted myself plenty of time, but it's all research from here. But I could, I know if we're short staffed, generally the first year, second years are usually the ones that teach labs, because they're new. You got time to find a supervisor, and the first year is paid for no matter what. If you're a teacher assistantship, and then you try to get up to a graduate assistantship. But generally, if they're short staffed, they'll ask like the third and fourth and fifth years if they want to volunteer to teach.
Yeah.
Which I got off. Somebody asked me. My supervisor asked me a semester or two ago, but I was like, "There's no way." It's so much.
You just have the time for it.
It's so much extra work, and the pay's the same, so it's not like you get paid for it.
Oh shit! Yeah, definitely. If you ain't getting paid more for it, fuck that.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good on your resume. It looks good on your resume too, though, for sure. But it's so much extra work because the labs use like 30 students. And you got weekly quizzes you got to grade. You got to grade the labs every week. You got to do the labs every week. So the Friday before, we do the labs ourselves. So we know like what they're going to expect, because sometimes the labs are like not perfect and things go wrong. But we do the labs ourselves. So when they do the labs, we kind of can guide them. And then, so that takes some time to do the lab, because it's like a 2-hour lab. then they got to do it. Then you got to grade. Then you have to have office hours. You have to tutor for a certain amount of time. So it takes up so much time.
Damn.
It's hard to get research done when you TA. That's why they only had generally the first years and second years to do it.
Well, do they not have like astronomy 101 classes that aren't labs?
No. So teacher TAs are just they only teach labs. I do know. I think if you get to the master's level, which I'd be eligible for, once you get to the master's level, they will allow you to teach like a intro level calculus or like a non-major, non-math major, non-physics major math classes. But yeah, I mean that might be even worse than a lab because in those classes it'd be a little more intense because now you got to actually teach a lecture. Because with the labs, we don't have to teach a lecture. We just teach the lab.
Yeah.
But
wait,
yeah.
Okay. What's the hardest class you ever had to do in college then?
That I took or taught?
Yeah, that you took.
Oh, the hardest? Oh shit, I could name like a list of 10 of them. Then they're my last 2 or 3 years. My last 2 years. My last 2 or 3 years of college was an absolute shit show. There's at one point I thought I was gonna have to switch majors because I just wasn't gonna make it.
And you're doing football on top of all that too.
Yeah, that's what made it so hard.
Did you even have people checking in to see if you were in class? Did they just know you were always there?
Yeah, not me. They only do that when it's like English 101 and there's like 10 players in that class. You know what I'm saying? I've never had anybody check in on my physics class because I was the only football player there, and they just knew because if you don't show up,
if you're taking a physics class,
if you don't show up, the grades will show. They look at the grade. Oh, he's got a B or A. If you don't show up, you're not passing the class. And they knew me. They knew I took my academics very seriously, so they didn't worry about me. They know their players. Guys like me get long leashes because they're like, he takes care of and stuff, and we have no problem, yada yada. I want to say non-Euclidean geometry was a beast. That was a math class, and it was basically
what was it called?
Non-Euclidean geometry. So Euclidean geometry is the geometry of this dimension, right? So like x, y axis, z axis, 3 dimensions, moving like that. Straight lines. Non-Euclidean geometry is geometry in hyperbolic space. So that's space where it's not flat. So like in this dimension we live in right now, the shortest distance between two paths is a straight line, right? And we know that as fact in this dimension. In non-Euclidean space or hyperbolic space, the shortest distance between two objects is actually a curve. It's not a straight line.
Now this has got to be theory, right?
No, it's a math class, so there's a lot of proofs and math behind it.
What's a non-hyperbolic? Where does that exist? Where does that space exist?
I couldn't tell you because since it was a math class, not a physics class, the real world application of it didn't matter. It's irrelevant. That's what I hate about math classes because you're solving all these equations and calculus, mathematically calculus is just solving integrals and derivations and stuff like that, right? But the real world application of calculus is you're able to describe 3-dimensional motion because geometry you can only describe 2-dimensional motion. So Sir Isaac Newton created calculus so he could describe motions of objects and things in 3 dimensions because you can do integrals and derivations, all that stuff, right? So calculus makes sense in real world application because it's a direct. But when you take a physics class, you understand the real world application of the math because all you care about is the application of the math. And in the math, all you care about is the answer of the equation. So that's where the disconnect is. So since it was a math class, I could not tell you why. Well, I can tell you why the shortest distance is a curve because the professor explained it. But the real world application, I don't know because it was just a math class. So all I know is we were just doing the math with no context behind it. So, But yeah, that one was rough. Biophysics was rough, but the way the class was structured set up, it was an easy class because it was more like a discussion class. As long as you participate in discussion, you were going to pass. But the math behind we were doing the physics of how proteins move throughout the body and like how genomes structure themselves through like the physics of that. Biophysics was pretty rough. Matrix theory, another math class, was just the theory of matrices, and it was all proofs.
Jesus Christ, man! You were doing these classes at the same time.
Yeah, there was. Well, I messed up. So this is for anybody that wants to take. This is any degree. This is a good advice, but especially a STEM where you're taking biology, chemistry, any of those intense brain functioning sciences. What I did is I messed up when you first get on campus, and I messed up because I kind of let Mizzou handle it for me. There's only been one other person to graduate with a physics degree that played Mizzou football. So, so they weren't used to handling that. So when you first get there, you take like theater 101 in the summer. And then they do that because it's an easy A and it gets your GPA starting out at a 4.0. Because they just got to keep you eligible. Honestly, they care if you graduate because in the stats of graduating athletes, it looks good on you. But worst case scenario, they just got to keep you eligible. Whether you graduate or not, it's really on you. They just need you eligible. So the first year, I was taking all my general eds. I was taking English. I took the history. I took like intimate relationships, like the social side, like social science type of stuff. So what happened is in my second year, so my first year and a half or two, I took all my general studies classes, my general eds, right? Mm-hmm. So all I had left was the grad level physics and the grad level maths. So I was taking like three physics classes and a math, or I was taking 3 maths and a physics, or 4 physics. There's one year I took 4 grad level physics courses in season. Like, it was terrible. But because what you're supposed to do is when you first get there, you take one of your physics, you take a physics, you maybe take a math, you take English, and it's relationships. So you only got 2 classes that are really like you really got to worry about because the other 2 aren't bad. So you're supposed to you're supposed to mix in your general study stuff with your core classes for your degree. I messed up because they were just putting me in whatever. So I went to my supervisor on campus instead of my athletic supervisor. She looked at my stuff because you're supposed to meet. They make you meet with them once a year. So I met with her that second year, and she was like, "Are you a physics major?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You're like 2 years behind." I was like, "What do you mean?" She pulled out like a rubric of like how it was supposed to go. I was so far off. Luckily, I took summer classes, so those summer classes helped me catch up. But it still took me. It took me 4.5 to graduate. But it was going to be 6. But the summer classes sped me up. But I was at one point I was a class away from a minor in psychology or something like that. Because I was taking all these relationship classes because they were just like putting me whatever. I was like, oh shit, I'm tripping. But so those last 2.5 semesters or 2.5 years, oh my God, rough. So rough.
Doing it all on top of football too.
Oh my God, dude! Like,
what time were you going to bed at?
Late, like, I mean, not dummy late, but like late for what I wanted because I was going to bed like 10 or 11, but I had to be up at 4:30. So like that was late for me. That was dummy late for me. And I mean, studying on the road. at the hotels. Like I was studying 24/7.
Jesus, man,
it was tough. There was one point. So when you're a freshman, you have to have a study hall and you meet with a tutor or a mentor every week and they make sure you're following whatever. I did that. And then once you show you're responsible academically, they don't have mandatory study hall. So I got out of the minute, but I was smart. Where I was smart is they're like, I was getting out of it. They're like, I went up there and I was like, hey, I still want I still want a mentor in a study hall because, I knew I was taking I'm not saying other degrees aren't serious, but a pretty rigorous degree. And it got to the point once I got to that second year and I was taking my actual physics stuff, I would ask you can request tutors for classes. I was like, hey, I need a tutor in biophysics, I need a tutor in calculus 3, and I need a tutor in discrete math. And they couldn't give me tutors. They could not find anybody to tutor me these classes. So half of my study hours was just me up there by myself just trying to figure the shit out.
Damn, dude.
In like a room. Yeah. Yeah. Shit was rough.
Dude, how done with school are you? Like, you got to be over this shit, bro.
You have no idea. I was so dumb. I was so done with school in my undergrad, I wasn't going to go to my graduation. I called my mom. I was like, hey, because I got accepted into Mizzou's grad program. And so even though I was going to graduate I was still going to be like in school. It was almost like I didn't skip a beat. That next semester, I was still just going to be in the groove. I was just going to be done with football because it was like, this was right when my last season was over. But I was just so in the zone of school. I called and said, hey, and I was like, hey, don't worry about coming to Mizzou. I'm not going to go to the graduation because one, I'm over it. I should have graduated a semester ago, but I didn't. So all my friends graduated that I came into the same, they all graduated. I'm still in undergrad. So I was pissed about that. And I was like, I got accepted in the Mizzou program. So like, I'm still in school, even though I graduated. So it's like, don't worry about this one. This is because I'm thinking like, when I graduate my PhD, then we can do the graduation thing. But like this, it's whatever. But she made me go. That's the only reason why I went, because I was so over it. And even this semester, I just graduated my master's this semester. I didn't go to the graduation.
Walk?
No, that one I didn't go. They sent the email and I told them I wasn't going. They're just gonna they just mail me my shit.
Yeah, because you'd have to pay for that cap and gown and shit too, man.
Oh yeah, you got me fucked up. No. No. I don't think so.
Damn, man. I can't believe you did all that shit with football on top of it.
And intramural basketball. That was a bit bullshit. But no, dog.
What the fuck, man? You played intramural basketball on top of all that? They let you play intramural basketball?
I mean, I didn't tell them I was playing intramural basketball. Bro, ball is life.
Ball is life.
Yeah,
damn, dude.
Fun times,
That
man.
is probably the worst degree you could have possibly taken while doing collegiate football.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that there's maybe a mathematics degree. I mean, it's pretty much the same fucking thing, huh?
Dude, I was going to get a dual master's. I was a class away from a dual major in physics and astronomy with an emphasis in astrophysics. That was going to be the title of my whole undergrad. But because what I did is, I've made some smart moves. So, you got to take 4 semesters or 4 classes of a foreign language. But in the fine print, you can get that substituted with 4 classes of the same program. So what I did is I forewent the Spanish because I was going to take Spanish. I forego Spanish, 4 classes of Spanish. I took 4 math classes. Yeah. And so the great thing about Mizzou,
Finis, by the way.
Okay, the great thing about Mizzou's physics program is you're going to get a physics minor by default because of the required math you have to take to get the degree. So I did the math, and if you replace your foreign language with math classes, then you just need to take 1 more math elective, then you'll get a dual major. So it's like, it's an extra degree by doing the same amount of class I'd have to do anyway. But the reason why I couldn't get it, this is probably the hardest class. You had to take advanced mathematics. So like you got to look and it shows you like what classes to take. So all you got to do is make sure those 4 classes of math are the 4 you need for a math major. So I've taken every math. I took obviously college algebra. I took trigonometry. I took discrete math, calculus 1, 2, 3. I took, any math you name it. And then, so I did that, and then I need to take advanced mathematics. It's the only one I needed. It was so hard. That class was so hard. I dropped it 2 weeks in.
No shit.
Was in season after the second, and then we had like a test that second week. I took it. I went to we gotta drop this class. I'm not gonna pass it. I'm not gonna pass it. It was. Because look, bro, when I tell you this math was like, it was first of all, it was a writing intensive math. So the matrix theory I took was writing intensive. Writing intensive maths are the hardest maths you can take because it's proofs. So there's no actual numbers. It's all arbitrary letters. So like if matrix alpha is greater than matrix beta, then matrix beta is B plus alpha, something like that. And then you got to prove why that is. You got to backtrack. But well, if theta is B minus A, then A plus B, bro. But the advanced mathematics was that on steroids. Oh my God, it was so tough. The first day of class, we had to do a proof on why division works. That shit blew my mind.
like what the concept, you had to explain in words what the concept of division is?
Well, not in words. You have to do it in theorems, like written theorems. So like, you know how like proving 1 + 1 = 2 is like, if you have first got to define what 1 is. 1 is a singular of a thing. So if you have a singular of a thing and you add a singular of another thing, you have two singulars of something. And that's why 1 + 1 is 2, because 2 singular, 1 and 1 singular make 2, right? So for proof of division, so if you take 1 and divide that 1 by itself, you have to prove why that's 1. Or you have to prove why if you take 1 and divide that by 2, you have to prove why that is 1/2 or half of something.
Yeah.
And stuff like, oh, dude.
Fuck that.
Like he was writing all this stuff on the board. I was so flabbergasted, I didn't write a single note down. Because I was just in awe of like, because like if you ask somebody,
what is this? Yeah.
Like if you tell somebody what's 10 divided by 2, you'd be like 5. You'd be like, why is it 5? Then because you got to get down to the simple. So you'd be like, it's 5 because you take 10 and you half it. It's like, what do you mean? Why is halving 10 5? Prove it.
Yeah.
What do you mean prove it? 10, half of 10 is 5. So you can't just say half of 10 is 5. You have to prove that a 5 and a 5 makes 10, and that taking half of that 10, it brings you back. You have to prove it. Oh my God, bro. I dropped it in 2 weeks.
No way, man.
And you know what pissed me off? There was a track runner that was in that class too, and I saw him in the cafeteria, and he stayed in the class because everybody failed the first exam. I thought I just failed it, but everybody failed it. And so like 2 months later, I was talking to him. He was like, yeah, bro, he lets us retake. So if you take the test and he lets you retake the test with the notes, because at first there was no notes. He lets you retake it with the notes so you get points back. And he said at the end of the class, as long as you attempted each assignment, he did it each exam as a completion grade.
Damn.
So I was like, bro, if I had just stayed in the class, I could have had a double major in math and physics. I was pissed. Bro.
So wait, so if he did that, so his opinion on the class is it's that hard that if you can make it to the end while somewhat making sense, you will pass the class.
Yes.
Is the professor's theory on that class.
Yes. I did not know that going in. I lucked out. I had another class like that. It was electrodynamics. We had a professor in electrodynamics. And at first it wasn't set up like that. So we took the exam. The average in the exam was a 55. So the next day he came in.
Bro, y'all are all like fucking breaking your neck studying like 7 hours a day, man, and can't pass that exam.
The average was a 50.
Dude, there's no bullshitters in that class. You know what I'm saying? There's no none. Still here because of daddy's money or like, when you get to that class, like everybody is like zoned in to wanting to figure this shit out. And nobody can pass it. That is fucking hilarious, man.
I felt proud of myself. The average for the exam was a 55. I think I got a 57. So I got my test back. I was like 57. I was like, oh shit. Because you don't know how everybody else did. So I'm thinking, damn, I suck. I'm in the room with geniuses because I'm thinking they understand it. I just got a 57. Oh, I'm a dumbass. I'm an idiot. And then when he said that the average was 55, I was like, okay, shit. What's up? But that next Monday, because the exam was on Friday, and that next Monday he came in. He was frustrated. He came in, he was just like sweating. He was actually sweating already when he came in. And he put down his binders. He was like, what's going on, guys? So I'm looking around. What's on? He's like, what's going on, guys? And then that's when he said that the average for the exam was 55. And I was like, oh shit, everybody did bad. So I didn't feel alone, right? Yeah. The average was like an 80. I'd be like, oh shit. but he was like frustrated. What do I have to do? Like, why aren't you guys? Now the problem with him, he's a great professor. He's a terrible teacher. He's naturally smart, the professor. He was very, very smart naturally. So he didn't understand why we couldn't get to his level. Because I'm not naturally smart. I just really, really wanted the shit. So I just, like you said, I broke my neck studying because I just didn't get it naturally. I just had to, just study, hard work, right? But he was just naturally smart. He was like, I haven't taken a biology course in 10 years, but if I took the MCAT right now, I could probably pass well enough to get into a medical school. I was like, good for you. That does not make us feel better. That does not make us feel better. I felt pissed when he said that. But then he was like, I don't know what to do. He was frustrated. He started just venting to the class. And then eventually that whole class was him just venting. He was trying to figure out how to help us because he didn't want us to fail. So he was literally like, what can I do to help y'all get it? Yada, yada, yada. So then, but shit didn't change. Everybody kept failing the exams. So what he did is he curved the grading scale. So if you finished the class with I think it was a 55 or higher, you got an A.
Holy shit.
So I think I finished that class barely passing, maybe 60 something. I think before I took the final, I had a 60 something, and I needed at least a C. I needed at least a C for this class. When it's your core class, you can't be bullshit. And then my cumulative GPA was good enough. I just needed a C for this class. My other classes, I was doing fine at the time. And I just need a C. And then I had a 67, and I knew I probably bombed the final. But I looked at my grade, it said A+. That's what I'm talking about, I'm in there playing Russian roulette. I'm going into exams. My chemistry class, I went into the exam failing. Finished with a B.
Damn.
I'm in there throwing dice, baby. Bro, that chemistry exam, I'm taking the final. So, Mitch, when I tell you I was sweating, this is not an exaggeration. I turned in my exam with sweat droplets on the test. So I'm doing it because I'm nervous. I have a 50 something in this class, and I have to you have to take a chemistry to for the physics department. You have to take a chemistry, bro. I'm sweating, and the professor was terrible. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was awful. It was awful. I don't think it was me. I think it was professor. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I'm gonna be that professor had you can go on these websites where students will give reviews of professors or cool class to take. Everybody said do not take his chemistry class. Nobody said one positive thing. So I didn't see that till after I had already taken the class, but it's whatever. Bro, I'm sweating, bro. Sweat beads are coming down into my test. As I'm taking it, I turn it in. It's half soaked in sweat. And I don't know. I was so scared to look at my final grade. I think I didn't look until halfway into the next semester. I didn't look. I didn't look for a minute. And then none of the academic people, the football, none of them said anything. I was like, damn, did I pass it? I looked. I got to be in that class. I was like,
so you just sit there working up the courage to open that link.
Yes. Or no, I don't even know if I got a B. I think I got a high C or a C+, but I passed. That's all that mattered. I needed a C. That's all I needed was a C for the chemistry. But yeah, bro. Undergrad was rough. Grad school has been way smoother.
Well, it's because that's what your full attention's on.
Yeah, well, yeah.
For the most part.
Not being in football is probably I don't want to sound like that guy, but not playing a sport in college, I don't see how anybody could fail college. I know that sounds bad because I get it, but you know what I'm saying? I went from having to be super efficient time management when I got done with football and I went into grad school, which is even harder. Oh, I had so much extra free time. I had time to actually study and still have time to play the game.
See, I think that's the difference, right? Is that I think that the vast majority. That's hard. Okay. I've always been I've always heard it put this way. There's 350 million Americans, right? If you take 1% of them and say that 1% of people are just complete jackasses, right? Just complete idiots.
Right.
That's still a lot of people, right? That's like 3 million people, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't want to fudge up the numbers here, but I would say that at least 80% of America, if you graduated high school, let's do that. 80% of people that graduated high school could go into college and pass college, get a degree in something. They could get a degree in something.
Something, for
and,
sure.
they could pass, right? But I think the problem is that would 80% of people that graduated high school be able to apply themselves to college to pass it? Right.
That
makes sense.
That's the difference.
So they're smart enough. They have the smarts to be able to do it, but they don't have the discipline that school requires. Right. And that's probably where that's my problem. See, that was my problem with college, man. I think that I'm a senior right now and I have 30 credits to graduate. Right. I never was able to look at college like, and it came from, I guess from like a schooling level below college, right? During middle school and high school, right? I could go in there, half-ass listen, and just finish the test, right? I think I graduated high school with like a 3.4, right? Like, so I can go through and I can do the shit. I've never learned how to apply it like a job, right? Because that's how you have to do school. You have to show up like it's an actual 9-to-5 job, or if it's like, wherever your job might be, Pizza Hut, whatever. You're going to show up and you're going to focus on your job. There was never any incentive in my head, at least, that got me to put myself in that state of mind to like the discipline to do it. So that's why I selected school. I think most people are smart enough for school. It's just most people know how to actually do school, and that's the problem.
Yeah, Oh,
all right. Let me ask you a question, Finis. I've been thinking about this. We got to wrap this up soon, right? We got 20 minutes.
Yeah, we might have less than that.
All right.
Yeah, maybe 10.
We got 10 minutes. We'll save it for another. Discussion. I don't think that we have a.
You think it's gonna take more than 10 minutes?
Right. No, yeah, we'll see. All right, we'll go down this path. Why you would say that, generally speaking? Okay, generally, do you think that the people around you that you don't know are good people? So, like, if you were to go walk up to somebody at Shoe Palace walking around, right? Like, when you go and talk to them, are you working under the preconceived notion that that person is just a good person? Maybe not like a great person, but like a person that doesn't have like malintent on their heart with you when you're going to talk to them, right? Like that person probably just wants to be happy, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that person wants to. When I go up and talk to somebody, I assume on a basis level that that person is in their life is trying to be happy, I guess, be successful, and live a peaceful, prosperous life, right? Like that is what I believe that 97% of people that I go and talk to, right? Obviously, there's the sociopaths, there's the complete evil people, there's just the dickheads, right? But I think that's a very small proportion, right? Like, put in numbers, let's say 5%, and that's still a lot, right? We make it 10%. 10% of everybody that I come in contact could be a complete asshole. But for the most part, everybody that I'm going to talk to is going to have the same objectives and kind of agree the same things within America, right?
Right. Yes.
Why? And do you feel like that everybody knows that? How about that? Do you feel like that for the most part that everybody approaches everybody with that like basis
level
basis
respect
of understanding, right? Yeah, like it's just, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that if I were to go to China, or I were to go to the UK, or I would go to Africa, like those, I think that those morals, like those foundations, I think it pass on to everybody, right? I think I go talk to somebody in Africa that doesn't have a dollar to their name, and I still think that their like main missions in life and like achievements is that they want to be happy, they want to have some type of success that allows them to do what they want to do, right? They might not be getting that, but that's what they want, right?
Right.
So I guess the first question is does everybody believe that about everybody? Like at a basis level. And we're talking in absolutes here, but for like kind of like scrunching the numbers here. For the most part, is that how most people operate when talking to people that they don't know, right?
I'd say within that 90%. Yes, of the 90%, I think, yeah.
That's how that they approach people.
Yes, I would assume.
So why? So if that's how, like, I don't mean to get political here, but if that's how 90% of everybody in America works, right? And everybody can get on that train, right? There are very few people that are gonna not be on the train of saying that I think that this guy at these random people in general just want to be happy and, you know, buy a house and live and not be, you know, infringed upon, not be like, not get the shit kicked out of them when they walk down the street. They don't want that. They don't want to go out and rob people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just want to live a peaceful life. Like you just want peace and happiness, really, like the hippie movement, right? So if 90% of the country, you know, making up numbers here, if 90% of the country all believes that, then how come the people that we get handed to us to vote for, right, are so dog shit quality, right? Because we get the option between two, right? And everybody knows that they are. That's the crazy part, right?
Yes.
Everybody knows that the two options are dog shit. Everybody agrees with it, right? Everybody agrees with these are probably not the two best people to like, you know, like, would you want to leave your kids in a room with them alone? Not saying that they're going to like hurt them, but are they going to be able to pick them up? Are they going to be able to, you know, put them to bed? Are they going to remember to feed them? Like all this shit, right? Like, and like those are the options that we get, right? And so then everybody kind of picks a side, then everybody splits, right? So now it's not 90% of people thinking that you know everybody's good. Now it's like 50% of that 90 are each on each side and they hate the other side, and then we have the division that we have, right? So like, why is it so hard for us to have somebody that can speak for that 90% that says, look, like, you know, I agree with this, I agree with some of that, bring it together, let's talk about what we do agree about, right? Because we do agree that like everyone should be nice to everyone else, right? Like that is, if you can't agree on that, then like that's fucked up, right?
Yeah,
like everybody should have some general respect. So I just don't understand it, man. I look around, man, and I see, you know, you get onto social medias and obviously like you're only seeing the extremes of it, right? But if it seems like there's just so much manufactured hate for everybody, right? Either you're on one side or you're a Boston fan or you're a New York fan. Like it's just like everywhere. It's always just like there's just the division, and it's like at the end of the day, how hard is it for somebody to stand up and be like, everybody here is just trying to be happy. Everybody's just trying to, you know, buy a house and, you know, retire and sit here and have a good life with a family. Like that's genuinely what everybody wants. Like, why can't we just have one guy stand up and say that? I feel like it's easy. I feel like it would be easy for somebody just to be like, hey, we're all in this together. Let's figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? But there's none of that. You don't see it anymore.
Here's what I think it comes down to. I think it comes down, there's two levels. I think it comes down to, which I agree with you're saying, but I think it comes down to, because even being happy and being peace or being happy or what people want for their lives, that itself is loaded, right? Because it comes down to the nuances of happy. Because my happy and maybe somebody else is happy that lives somewhere else might be two different things. Because, you know, let's just take a very hot button issue where, like, for me, sexuality, don't care. As long as that person's happy, their sexuality I have no problem. If two gay men want to get married, go for it. If that's what makes y'all happy, I don't care. I won't intervene. Y'all do you. But that's me. There are other people, happy to them is they don't think it should be allowed because it's wrong and that disturbs them. Yeah. And I think that's where it comes to nuances of the individual's person's view of what happy is are what peace is, because those people might lose sleep over that. So to them, they're not at peace because gay marriage is allowed in America. And that's what the second thing I think it comes down to is when you start creating legislation that's going to be able to dictate people across the board, it also becomes a problem. Now, if we had it to where it's just like the whole pro-choice, pro-life, just with the gay marriage. Like, if you don't believe in gay marriage, don't get married to a gay person. You know what I'm saying? Hang on just a second. So legislation, again, if you don't believe in gay marriage, or you don't be married, don't get married to a gay person, or you don't have to associate with gay people. I don't think it's homophobic to not associate. Now, I think you should be sociable and at least professional, but you don't have to like them. Just treat them with respect. Treat them like a human being with respect, and then you go about your life, go back there. You don't have to be for it, but you don't have to be outward against it or treat them worse because they are, but just mind your business. That's cool. Or if you want to be for it as all you want. But when you can't pass in terms of, but that's the problem is people don't want the openness for it. They don't want the option for it. Just like the whole abortion thing, and how that was such a big deal where guys were not at peace because a woman could go abort their son whenever she wanted to, and he couldn't do anything about it. That causes stress for some individuals, and they wanted to pass legislation to where that could be done. Well, once you do that to the women, that's the opposite. To them, it's like they're not at peace because now they're being controlled by, predominantly the group white men. They're being told by white men what they can and can't do with their body, and they're not even female. They don't know what it's like to have periods. They don't know what it's like to carry a child. They don't know what it's like to do any of this stuff. So now they're not at peace. So now you have the two sides. So I get what you're saying. That's a great question. I didn't know where you're going with this at first, but I see where you went. But that's a good take. So I think it does, like, everybody wants to be happy and everyone's generally good, but within each individual household, good is, like some people, gay marriage is bad. Subjective. You shouldn't do that. Good becomes subjective within individual households. So I think it comes to the nuances of that. And when you create legislation, so you have to force people to do stuff, or you take away their right to do things, you create this polarity. That's what I think.
No, I agree with you. I agree with your take on it. It just seems like that it would be. It just seems like it could be handled a lot better.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm sure there's a lot of money involved in the chaos of what's going on with everything right now. It's just as far as the political, I don't know, political mess, I would call it, that we're in, just of, each side hating each other so much. I don't know. I just feel like that they have more in common, that from each side, they have more in common with the other side than they would like to admit.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's weird that we haven't, as a country, yet, that there hasn't been somebody that's kind of popped up during the middle of all of it that like capitalized on it, right? That said, hey, like, you guys agree with this, let's build upon that, right? Like, we can build, like, I don't know. It seems like you would have thought that we would have had something would have happened to where somebody was able to, I don't know, make a big movement, make a big change. Like, and it just hasn't happened. Yeah. Right. And it just hasn't happened. Maybe it won't happen, but all right.
Yep.
Let's see if you're going to stutter.
Oh, no, for sure, because this is just going to be simple, quick, and easy. And we appreciate you guys for listening. If you've gotten this far, watching, if you've gotten this far, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on Spotify, any of your podcast platforms, as well as YouTube. We appreciate you guys. This has been Garden 615. We're out. We'll catch you next week.
I'm going to chase